Shrapnel.
Wagwan everyone and welcome to Film Shrapnel, your number one spot for everything movies. My name's Tobias and this is my co-anchor and partner in crime, Craig Britton. Hello Craig.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good man, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. We're gonna talk about one of the worst ever films ever made, apparently.
As voted for by the adoring public. Well, because this is the thing, there are movies out there like The Room, Tommy Wiseau's The Room, that are known for being bad but are still really fun. And I like that one. But this one, Plan 9 from Outer Space, popularized by, film fans everywhere who are like, actually, it's not terrible, like, to sit around and watch with your mates and just laugh at it. It's quite fun. I watched it. It's shit. I hate it. You can fight me on it, but I did not like this film.
I will not fight you on this because it is very terrible. I don't think I hated it as much as you. I found it pretty hilarious how bad everything was.
Hated it.
Um,
Hated
yeah,
it.
I think it really grinded your gears, didn't it?
I did not
Um,
find it funny. I did not find it fun. I thought it was pathetic. I was embarrassed for it. I did
yeah,
not like it.
it's a pretty embarrassing attempt to make a film.
Yeah.
Uh, some people give him credit that at least he tried. You know, he had an idea. He got
Well,
he got something done. But yeah,
well,
it's not worth really watching.
this is the
It's
thing. I was definitely my interest in this movie had peaked with the Tim Burton film Ed Wood, which I really do like, and I love the movie and I love the story. But after watching this film, uh, I'm a little disappointed. It's like when you go to Amsterdam and you smoke Purple Haze for the first time, and you go, "This is what Jimi Hendrix wrote songs about."
yeah,
Um, so
yeah.
should we run down the plot real quick?
Let's do it. Yeah. Should I lead the way with the plot?
Yeah, because I have no fucking clue.
So it starts with this guy called Chriswell, which is a psychic that apparently was a friend of Edward Wood, um, who apparently was really crap at making predictions, and he's our narrator for this film. I found, by the way, I have a note somewhere that to me he sounds really like Top Cat. I don't know if you got that vibe from the way he
Yeah,
spoke.
Officer
So,
Dibble. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I really got that from how he was talking, and he had some really strange lines. I think probably some of the funniest stuff in this film comes from this guy narrating Chriswell, and he has what was the line? Please, I need to find it. Future events such as these will affect you in the future, and it's just such a stupid fucking line, and it's brilliant.
Yeah. It gets past the point of being informative in any sense, and it's so vague it just loses all meaning.
Yeah, it is. You know what else I was thinking as well? Do you think Edward believes in UFOs and aliens and like there's a big conspiracy to cover them up by the government?
I feel like that's his certainly something he's lost sleep over for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
I got strong vibes from this film that for him it was like a way of educating people that there are aliens out there and the government is trying to stop you learning about them. Like there was also little like kind of things that could almost be like there was one bit where someone is saying how like but you know UFOs they don't always make sounds and have lights and stuff like this. It just felt really like uh,
It just felt
he was
like
forcing
it
his
was just
ideology.
yeah. It felt like everyone was very. I felt like no one seemed incredibly surprised at any UFO stuff. Because like the pilot when he sees the UFO, he I think I he certain I forget the line he says, but he's just so relaxed, you know, like really relaxed about seeing a UFO. Not very like if I saw a UFO for realsies, I'd be pretty. I'd be pretty shocked. I'd be pretty stunned by it. And he seems pretty at ease. And he's also flying a plane. You would have thought, like, maybe a bit of, oh shit, it's a fucking UFO. No, none of that. Just like, it looks like a big cigar.
Yeah. The, yeah, and it doesn't look like a cigar at all.
It doesn't
And
look like a cigar at all, does it?
did you
Why?
also?
Why did they not redub that line? Like
I don't know.
when they figured out what the UFOs were going to look like. Of clearly, there's a separation between the effects and the writing and filming of all the dialogue. But when you were like, oh, actually, it looks more like a traditional UFO, nothing like a cigar. Why didn't you just dub the line saucer instead of cigar? I'm sure saucer and cigar aren't too far removed in lip syncing anyway, so it wouldn't have even felt too out of place.
Yeah.
But it really
But
feels out of place calling it a cigar.
did you also notice in this scene the guy next to him, the co-pilot, reading from his script,
Yeah.
and the moment when so when the UFO passes by, the light I guess shines from the UFO through the cockpit, and if you look above, you can see the boom mic as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so fucking terrible. This movie's really bad. So, and also, this is Bela Lugosi's last film, who famously played Dracula, who Ed Wood was a huge fan of, loved him, really wanted to put him in a movie. Um, but, you know, you can tell that he dies halfway through shooting some random scenes with him in a garden.
Yeah, so, from what I understand, Edward was going to make like a vampire movie with him. They shot a few bits and pieces, and then yeah, he died. And like, so this is all like just random bits of footage. I guess like from what I read, he kind of used it to like encourage like people to see the movie and invest in it, and star in it. Like, oh, it's going to be Bela Lugosi's last film because we got footage of him, and it's just like two ideas that just don't mold together. You have an alien film, an alien invasion movie, and you got this vampire footage, and somehow Edward comes up with this like really terrible idea that let's somehow combine this vampire crap with a fucking zombie alien movie, and we got this mess.
So, you know what? I don't even think we should go through this thing in chronological order because who gives a flying fuck? So, my question is what is the do they even try and explain what is the purpose of reanimating the dead on Earth? They've only done it to they only get to do it to three people. The aliens I think I've got a note somewhere. Hang on, I've got so many fucking notes. I've got a note somewhere. Oh, I think they said something along the lines of that they're using the undead to make the Earth believe that aliens exist, or some shit like that.
Yes, that is the plot, which doesn't make any sense.
That
Because if the
is the
dead start
dumbest
rising
shit.
from the ground, I'm not going to believe there's aliens suddenly. Like, what
I,
the fuck?
I,
It's so
I,
stupid.
it's just so dumb. And then
And this is
again,
plan nine.
all
This is plan
and
nine.
this
What were
is
the other
yeah.
fucking eight plans?
There was
What the fuck was that?
eight other plans, and like this must like was this meant to be like a last resort kind of thing? How many more plans are there?
And like I always all the whole time thinking that sort of our main alien guy, I think his name is Oros or Eros.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like he's a really crap alien. He's just like, really crap at
Well,
what he's doing. He's just completely fucked this
so
up. He's
so
tried to
like
bring back the dead. He brought back
yeah.
three to like invade Earth, and then you got these three idiots. You got the pilot Jeff, who we mentioned earlier. You got some detective and some other guy, the military guy, who I've got more shit
Mm.
on later. These three idiots alone managed to stop an alien invasion. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Just how easy they managed to stop the world ending.
I
Three
know,
local
I
idiots.
know. And when they finally reveal the aliens, it's just fucking normal looking people in dumb fucking clothes. Like
Yeah.
I was really disappointed with the reveal of the aliens, and just before th- there are some fucking dumb lines. Just before that scene, someone goes, "Visits." That would insinuate visitors.
See, that I can enjoy, and I think you can enjoy that too, right? When you come across lines like that, it makes you
No,
laugh.
no. I've got nothing good to say, man. I've got nothing
I
good to say because, like, okay, so the film starts. All right, Bela Lugosi's wife's died. All right, cool. And then what? He dies randomly. They don't. Do they even explain how he dies? But he dies, and then he
car
comes back.
crash
Car crash, right? And
off
then he
screen.
comes off-screen car crash because didn't have the footage, right? And then they. Then he comes back to life just randomly. We don't see how he comes back to life. We don't see how only one character who comes back to life do we see the him coming out of the ground, but still the process of bringing the dead back to life I'm not entirely sure of, but whatever. I don't think it's all that important. And
Can I
then
also mention
fucking,
something here?
but this is the thing. They have to have a different actor playing the Bela Lugosi character, and he covers his face the whole time. So and you can tell it's not him anyway. So every scene that Bela Lugosi's in, you can tell it's not him, and it's like that's also distracting. But you know what? That kind of stuff I find quite charming. It's just there's not enough charm in this film for me to like it the way to get this cult following that it has. I don't think it's charming enough. I don't see how it's become this popular.
Well, from what I understand, from what I've read, because I always like to read up on these films a little bit, usually through Wikipedia. So Ed Wood, I think, died in like the late 70s
Mm.
or early, somewhere in the 70s, I think. And around 1980, some guys wrote a book about film, and they named this film as the worst film ever made. And I think like no one had paid any attention. Like when this film came out, because it was kind of staggered the release. I think it came out in a few different places. I think it was released first in Texas of all places, and then spread around the US, and got a limited kind of release, and even had a different name at one point as well, which I think is referenced by this Criswell character, which I can't remember off the top of my head, unfortunately.
Is it
So
Grave Robbers from Outer Space?
yes, yes, that was what it was originally called, and like. Because like I don't think anybody really knew about it until it was mentioned in this book as the worst film ever made. And like when you say that, okay, I got to see how shit this is, and then suddenly everybody, is talking about shit. I think probably this film actually started the whole "so good it's bad." So sorry, the other way around. So bad it's good kind of trend, and like yeah, I know it really grates on you, but there was some bits that really got me. Like speaking again about reanimating people from the dead. So our detective guy, who's this guy, I think the actor is called Tor Johnson or something. He used to be a wrestler from Sweden,
Mm.
uh, and his dialogue is so clunky. But so he is brought back to life for some reason. When the first murders start happening early on in the movie, he decides to go by himself to look around, uh, and see what's happened. And basically, he dies, and then he comes back to life, and they come across his grave, and they see that it's like open. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you buried the guy in the same graveyard that he was murdered in? Like, how much time has passed here that he's been buried in his like? It was just some very strange things happening,
It's
strange
just
decisions.
it's just shit. I don't. I think we'll waste our time trying to figure out how to justify it all. I really do. I don't know how to talk about this film, Craig. I don't
Well,
think we
this
can.
is
I don't think we can talk about it like a normal film. It's just shit.
it's really
I don't,
terrible.
I don't like. Yeah, I can't find enough charm in it to really, you know. Okay, the plan is dumb. All right, so I kind of like the police chief was this wrestler, right?
Yeah.
And I quite liked how, you know, I kind of liked his performance the best, if I'm perfectly honest. I think he's the one that gives the best performance, not only like before he becomes the monster, but once he's the monster, it's very. Uh, I actually found his look realistically scary. I could see how that could scare someone. Like, I thought he was somewhat decent. But I believe he was the in the previous Edward film, Rise of the Atom or something.
I have no idea. This is the first Edward film I've seen. Although I do know
I think it's
that,
like
so that,
Bride of the Atom or Rise of the Atom, something like that. And he's the atom.
yeah, I think he was quite close friends with Edward because they filmed.
Yeah.
So the shots that they have of Bela Lugosi walking around a house before he's like a vampire. This is
Mm,
apparently his Tor's house. So I guess they
yeah.
were all quite chummy. They were quite close friends. Those
Yes.
guys.
Well, yeah. No. Have you seen the movie Edward, the Tim Burton film?
No, I haven't, unfortunately.
Oh,
This is the first time I've watched anything related to Edward.
maybe we should give Edward a watch because it'll tell you all the like it goes through the making of this film. And like his whole career as well. Yeah, it's a really interesting film. This is the thing. I love that film, so I was quite excited to watch this, and I was really disappointed. Like I just didn't find anything enjoyable about it. Um, like
Oh,
I just felt myself being frustrated. Things that maybe I could people would find funny. I just found really irritating. Things like report back to me in 2 Earth days, and it's like, but why aren't you using your own metric of measurement for time? Like, surely that surely you're aliens. You wouldn't need to do things by Earth time. Even on Earth, you still would use your own measurement of time, surely. But whatever, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. It's
but
so crap.
what do you think of? So we're skipping. We're not really going to follow the plot here because it's
Who
stupid as hell.
cares? Who
But
cares? There is no plot. I don't know, man. There's no
it's
plot.
just, I think, really,
We've
this is just a.
already explained the plot in like the bits that makes enough sense. It's aliens that are bringing the dead back to life to make people like wake up to aliens existing and not putting gasoline in the space. I don't fucking know.
So that's what I was going to mention. The aliens want to stop Earth from creating exploding sunlight.
Ugh.
So a weapon that can like make sunlight explode, which like I actually found that kind of redeeming actually because that could be a pretty scary fucking weapon if you could make light explode. Like you
Right.
use it, you could destroy the
But
whole universe.
let me
Uh,
ask this though, Craig. When they explain that scene, you just managed to explain it quite eloquently and succinctly, right? They don't do that. They ramble on for like three
yeah.
minutes about this thing, and I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. It was just in one ear and out the other. It was monotonous. It was so badly shot and acted that I just couldn't retain it at all.
Yeah, I know it wasn't done very well at all, and it was just really dumping the whole plot on you. Like, what is their
Mm,
reason? And oh, here we go. Let's just spew it out like right into your face, basically. You know what I did find interesting that I didn't realize till recently. So you know how far light travels. Like if you look in the sky and you see stars, some
yeah.
of those planets, those stars might not exist anymore. The light
Yes.
is just reaching us now. So I always thought of that.
Yes.
If there was a weapon like that could weaponize light, that's really could just destroy fucking everything because the light travels everywhere. Um, so, was there anything then that you liked about this film?
No.
Like,
No.
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 What about
No.
the use of stock footage?
No.
This is really really stupid. One of
No.
my favorite bits, actually. I've got two
No.
favorite bits. Is like fighting the aliens, and like he has like there's all this
Hmm.
stock footage of tanks and weapons
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff, and it's these three fucking spacecrafts hanging on string, and they're trying to blow them up. It doesn't work, and they're just super casual. They just fly away, and I just found that really stupid. And then later on, the same general guy who is one of our heroes at the end uh, goes to a meeting with one of the boss, his boss, I guess. And so we know this guy has been shooting at fucking space aliens fucking quite a while. And like, he's like, the guy's asking, do you believe in sources? Yes, sir. You know that we're saying there are no sources. So, you know, what you're saying basically is contradicting what we're saying. Is, yeah, I know. And then they just start, well, you've been in charge of our sorcerer activity for a long while. Like, what was the point of that bit? Like,
I
it
don't
was
know.
just, it was so stupid. It was
Stop
kind
trying
of
to,
like,
mate. We're wasting our time on this. It's a literal waste of time even trying. I'm telling you, it's bollocks. The whole thing's bollocks. It's
yeah.
rubbish. You
I
know,
should
I honestly believe they're writing scenes just for filler. I reckon they're just throwing shit in for the sake of it. You know, oh, we've got like access to military costumes. Okay, great. We can shoot something in a military bunker tomorrow. What are we going to shoot? Doesn't matter. But like, it will look like we've spent money on it. So let's do it. You know, honestly,
yeah.
I reckon that's what it was. You know,
And
I will say this actually, because you said what did I like? The only thing I liked was their over reliance on smoke machines.
hmm.
I liked all this.
Hmm.
Like I know it's a lot of smoke, but I found it quite amusing. I thought that was cute.
Yeah. Should I also read you this line from our actor Gregory Walcock, who played
The
Jeff,
pilot,
our pilot?
the pilot. Yeah, go on.
So like this is he's talking about the film many years later because he said he was like joking that this film kind of like haunted him for his career. By the way, apparently he's supposed to be in the Edward film that you mentioned earlier by what's his name,
Oh,
with
Tim
Johnny
Burton.
Depp. Yeah. So he said Edward had poor taste and was undisciplined. If he had $10 million, Plan 9 would still have been tasteless shit. I
Oh yeah.
liked Edward, but I would discern no genius there. His main concern was making his next film, which I think like kind of hits the nail on the head of what you just said. Like, what do we have? What can we make a film with right now that we have
Mm.
access to? Edward just wanted to make something and move on to the next one. And really, that's
Yeah.
kind of what happened here because he's got all this footage of Bela Lugosi that he can't use. And
Well,
you think, I can throw it in
well,
this
this is
one,
it.
and then we have this
It
film.
kind of wild. I agree with this guy because yeah, you know, I can't see this movie being any good, regardless of how much money you put in on it.
Yeah,
This movie's doomed to fail from the get go.
Edward is the problem, not
Yeah.
he's the core. He's like the problem is a top down thing. He's at the
Hmm.
top. He's the producer, writer, director, and because he's fucked all of it, everything else that's produced is fucked. Like it's a trickle down shit economics kind of theory
Mm.
where it's just fucking up everything below it. Uh, by the way, another thing that bugged me. So I talked a little bit earlier about the exploding sunlight kind of weapon and how it was kind of interesting. But at the end, it's unsatisfying because so the humans stop the aliens. So does that mean that the humans will still develop a weapon that will destroy Earth? They haven't learned from this experience. There's even a bit I think around this scene where the alien Eros, I think his name is like kind of pissed, and he's explaining how humans are stupid and shit, and they're gonna destroy everything. And then the guy just like kind of punches him. He's kind of just proving the point, and like, yeah, so that we're still doomed really because we're monkey people that can't prevent ourselves from destroying the universe.
I mean, what was it that they say that the is it Eros on the alien radio, and he has the language computer or
Yeah,
the dictometer, whatever it's called. And on there he says, "How could a race be so stupid?" But the thing is, I couldn't agree with him more because I think around that time there's a bit where like the detective is with the guy and he's like,
Well, it's no more strange than anything else in this cemetery.
Oh my god, yeah. Some of
Ugh.
the worst lines are the ones of the from the police. There is also one bit that I've just remembered where Bela Lugosi's stand-in attacks some of the guys at Jeff's house coming from the garden, and he knocks one guy down. It looks so awkward how he does it. I don't
Oh,
know really what happened there.
I've got nothing good to say, man.
Yeah, and adding back to that bit where Bela Lugosi's stand-in attacks that guy in the garden. So then they start shooting at him, and then he
Oh
disappears.
yeah,
And
yeah, I remember
then it's
that bit. Yeah, yeah,
and there's a
and like
skeleton.
the bullets do absolutely nothing.
And then so Bela Lugosi's stand-in character, whatever the hell you want to call him, disappears. And they remove a sheet, and they see that their police officer friend is now a skeleton. And
Yeah.
then someone's like, "He didn't look like that a second ago." What the fuck? That's so stupid.
Oh, okay, that's quite
Oh.
funny. That's quite a funny line. I'd forgotten that line.
But
Uh,
that's another thing I want to say, by the way, about like these kind of films that are so terrible. It actually really like boosts comedy films. I think it's given
mm,
some films a bit more. I don't know, like for example, you know what I was thinking about while watching this film, and actually also the other films in which we've done in this month. I kept thinking of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place the whole
yeah.
time because of it. There's so many like uh, awfully done things like when the humor is not just what the characters are doing, but it's everything about like how everything has been done. It's kind of like very meta way of making jokes, and it's just
Mm,
that's only really because of terrible stuff like this, you know. So
yes.
much comedy that we have today is the result of these terrible movies. So I think that's the redeeming thing about them is that they've made comedy a bit broader,
Well,
maybe in a
I mean,
sense.
well, this is the thing that they're stupid as fuck. But then if you're stupid as fuck and know that you're stupid as fuck, then you're in on the joke. And I don't. This film doesn't feel like it's in on the joke.
No, but that's also adds to the humor. And by the way, that's a common theme,
Mm,
really, that we'll get into in the other films this month.
true. I mean, I've got a note here. It just says, "I don't know and I don't care."
Yeah, I think that's some. Yeah, that's pretty much
That
you there.
I think that might have to be like the subtitle for today's episode. I don't know and I don't care. Like it's,
Yeah,
I just don't. Why do they have to go to Hollywood again? Besides the fact that that's where they filmed it, so they had to have like a little line in to explain it. But why did they need to go? Well, how did they explain going to Hollywood?
no idea, no idea.
I
You know
just
what else?
don't know, don't care.
Like, did you also notice the random beeping that they gave the undead whenever they were walking around? And
Yeah.
I just thought that was so stupid. And there was even one bit where they take Tor from Earth to the mothership, and they're trying to control him with some like ray gun device, and
Mm.
he tries to strangle one of the guys or the girl, I can't remember. And
Yeah. So,
it's just
so the guns control the zombies.
yeah, something like that. I don't know and I don't care.
Oh, it's fucking so bad. There's a. It was. I'll tell you the one bit that made me laugh. There's a bit where the I think it's Jeff's wife is like explaining to the detective and the other dude, like having the experience, their contact with the aliens and the UFOs and shit. Anyway, so she sits them down and she goes, "Well, it goes like this," and then they cut to like a UFO for like a second, 2 seconds tops, and then they cut back, and then she's like, "And that's how it was," and I'm like, and but the thing is, funnily, the ironic thing, I know it's only a 78-minute movie, but the ironic thing is, I've been so bored and like mind numbed since her story happened. I actually could have used a bit of a reminder, and they cut past it. This is just so bad.
And then one of the guys, after she finishes telling them, one of the guys goes, "This is the most fantastic thing I've ever heard."
Yeah,
And
I literally just found that note, that line in my notes as well. Yeah,
yeah,
oh my god.
and then I I don't know if it's this scene or maybe the next scene, and someone
Oh,
else says something started stinking awful bad, and I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, this movie for a start.
You know what? And I just, so the reason I had that note, that line written down, this is the most fantastic story I've ever heard, was because I think it's from the military guy. And my note is, you led the army to shoot at spaceships. And this is the most fantastic story you've ever heard. What the fuck? That doesn't make any It's just, yeah, it's just
Oh,
absolutely nuts. Really
I
nuts.
I don't know, man. It's just so dumb. And then, so yeah, Bela Lugosi attacks them. The bullet, and then that when like the skeleton's on the floor, someone goes, "Well, what do you make of that?" No
That's,
feckin' clue. No
isn't
feckin'
that
clue what to make of that.
that guy have a, was he a friend of yours? Did he have a family and shit? Ah, it's
Oh.
just a, now he's a fucking skeleton. Like,
But,
what? I don't
but
know.
to be fair though, they didn't the aliens say that they needed to sacrifice Bela Lugosi for some reason.
I don't know. And like, why did they
I
pick
don't
these
know. Don't
guys?
care.
And why is Bela Lugosi a vampire? And why do you know the other woman? By the way, her she played this kind of caricature before, called Vampirina, I think, or something. Vampiria, Vampira. I don't know. She's another stuff like this.
Yeah.
And but why is she the way she is? I don't know. And they
And
whenever they kill someone,
she
it's off
doesn't
screen.
interact. She doesn't interact with anyone on screen. All of her scenes are shot independently of the rest of the movie, and some of the shots are recycled as well. It, I don't know. She has no bearing on the plot at all.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
many,
It's
so many of these scenes, it's clearly been shot independently of everything else.
yeah.
And they don't even fuck. Oh, oh
I have a
God,
question
I
for you
really
though,
can't with this
Tobias.
movie. Craig, I really can't with this movie.
Would you ever rewrite this film to make it good?
They've already done it. They've already. I think it's either already come out or it's coming out.
Is it actually supposed to be good, or is it just complete crap like the original? Because
I don't know.
it could work if you
No,
just
it
spent
couldn't.
a lot more fucking time on it.
I tell you
And
what. I tell you what. We'll next time we'll watch Life Force, which is like about alien vampires, and I think, and it's also got zombies in it, uh, but it also has Patrick Stewart having his first on-screen kiss with a man,
ooh,
um,
ooh,
and uh, yeah, naked space vampires.
that
It's
sounds
great.
fun.
It's amazing. I love Life Force. It's one of
Who
my all time favorites.
who directed that one? I think you mentioned. Is it John
To-
Carpenter or it's
Toby
not?
Hooper.
Ah, I don't know who that is.
He
Okay,
did
well,
he did he did
that's on the
Texas
list.
Chain he did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he did Poltergeist.
Ah, okay, all right. That's definitely on the list for some point.
Yeah,
Um,
to be fair, a lot of people are talking about Life Force. It's getting like it's building its cult following up recently with like uh, YouTubers sort of discovering it and doing videos on it. So like it is getting the following it deserves. But I remember watching it a long, long time ago, and I've always loved this film. It's so
hmm.
unique, so different, and the budget when you watch it and it's such a B movie, like on the level of Plan 9 from Outer Space, like ridiculous shit happening, but the budget is really, really high. Like you can tell a lot of money's been put into into Life Force. So like imagine Plan 9 from Outer Space but on a massive budget, and you get Life Force, and it's actually awesome.
Okay, so
We
maybe
should
we'll watch
definitely
this.
do Life Force. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
um
Let's start wrapping this one up because we're mostly finished, I think. I've
well,
got a couple of other
okay,
notes. One of the biggest ones I'll mention quickly is that clear. I felt this film was a bit of a rip-off of The Day the Earth Stood Still and War of the
sure.
Worlds.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what else I really have to say. Yeah, filmmakers. If you're a filmmaker starting out in filmmaking, I really think you should watch this
Well,
film to learn how not to make a shit film. I think that's pretty much all I have really left.
I mean, I've got quite a few notes left, but like I can just run through them really fast
Go on.
because I don't really want to talk about this film anymore. I hated it. But I'll try. I'll brush past all the shit I hated, and I'll try and spend a bit of time talking about stuff I liked. Um, so there's one point where they one of the guys passes a gun to the other one, and it hits the car's radio antenna, and they don't do another shot. They clearly just went for that take, one take, done. Oh, you got your
How
lines right. It's fine. It doesn't matter
in,
that we get a big ding and affect the audio from the gun hitting the
how long do you think that it took for them to make this film?
1 week.
I think it was rushed as fuck. Like they just this
Yeah,
like in like a couple of days.
I bet you the editing took longer than the making of the movie.
Apparently, Edward also edited this film too, so
Oh,
he did
never
fucking
mind then.
everything.
Never mind then. I reckon the turnover of this film, it was done in a week. It
Yeah,
feels that way.
it does.
Um, I quite like the line when the police confront the aliens and then the big zombie steals the wife and he goes, "You fiend," and he's like, "You call me a fiend? You're a fiend." And then he goes, "Earth are idiots," or something like that. And then Jeff goes, "Now you just hold on there, Buster." And
Yeah.
I quite like that exchange. That exchange was quite, it put a smile on my face.
So you did laugh at points then, huh?
I
Which I
mean,
think is the most
but
important when you watch this.
only because if I didn't laugh, I'd cry, Craig. Like, you know, I was constantly checking how long is left of the film while watching the film. It's the only film we've watched that I've had to watch, like I've had to take a time off and come back to it the next day and finish it.
You had to
It's
go
the
to
short
therapy.
it's the shortest movie we've done on the podcast, Craig. 78 minutes, and it felt like the longest. It felt longer than the Snyder Cut, longer than RRR, longer than Godfather Part 2. This film dragged for me. It dragged. I did not enjoy the experience at all. I hated it.
Yeah,
Oh
that's a
God.
pretty
And
good
then,
summary.
so yeah, well, let me get. So look, we're at the end, right? At the end of the movie, and we're talking to this alien in like the spaceship, and just they're going to set it on fire. But just before it's on fire, they have all this conversation. We get the reveal that Earth's government are actually willfully ignorant to the aliens' existence. They've tried to reach out, and they've been ignored. Um, but then that's when we get the big explanation of the gasoline sunlight gun weapon thing, whatever the fuck that's all about. Um, so then it turns out that Earth is the one that needs to be stopped. But how is that being achieved? How are they stopping the Earth? They're not. Seeming, I don't know. And then they go, "Holy cow! How are we going to kill
Yeah.
someone that's already dead? Dead. And yet there he stands."
We have to collect all these lines. There's probably an article somewhere on the internet that has collected all of these lines, and I would love to just read through them. It's really
Oh,
hilarious.
they're really bad.
Anyway,
And then
let's wrap this up then.
hang on,
Uh,
I'm nearly finished with my notes. So, then the big fucking zombie guy, he's holding the woman, and then the other guys, their plan is to sneak up behind him, clonk him on the head like cartoon logic, clonk him on the head to save the girl, and then
yeah, bullets didn't work, but apparently a big club to the head works.
clonk him on
That
the
was very
head,
weird.
cartoon logic, clonk him on the head. And then they set fire to the ship. They get off the ship. The ship flies away, and then we get this sort of wide shot of like the ship on a bit of string, but they've set it on fire. Again, I thought that was kind of cute.
effects, and then they're looking up as we get a shot from them, like looking up at the sky, and he goes, "Gotta hand it to them, they're far ahead of us." And then the narrator comes back, your
My
your
friends.
your predictor friend, and he appears, starts speaking directly again, and he says something about like how human development was gifted by aliens, and then it just fucking ends. And I've listened to these notes. I'll read my notes here verbatim. I was like, wait, that's the end. Are you serious? What was this movie? What a waste of my fucking time. I streamed it and I still feel robbed. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Fuck this movie. 1 out of 10. And I only give
Uh,
it a 1 because I don't feel like you're allowed to give 0. You can't give, that's like giving it no rating. Got to give it something. 1 out of 10. Shit film. Should have go back to plan 1.
yeah, the other 8 plans were obviously not effective enough from our shit
They
alien Eros who
they
couldn't do anything.
they tried to do a George Lucas and start on episode 9, but they fucked it.
Yeah. I don't know if I can give it. You know what? A 1.
1.
We've never given anything a 1 before.
We've
I
never
think the
given
lowest.
anything less than a 5. I don't think.
No, I think we gave at least one of the Jackie Chan movies a 4. I can't remember which one,
Did
but
we?
yeah, I think
I
4
don't
is the
think
lowest we've ever gone. But to go to 1,
1.
maybe it is a 1, But
Well, maybe you liked it more than me. You can give it
I
higher.
think I
I'm
liked
going
it.
1.
I liked it a bit more than you because it was so stupid. Uh, but a 1?
1.
You know
Waste of
what?
time.
A waste of time? No, I don't think it's
Yeah.
a waste of time.
Utter waste of time. You know what?
I
Oh, I'm. You know what? I'm retract. I'm going to go 0. A 0 out of 10. I hated
oh,
it. I
you're
hated
gonna
it.
you're gonna bring back Edward from the dead and he's gonna kill you.
I don't
I'm gonna
care. I don't
I'm gonna
care.
give it
God rest his soul. Shit film.
I'm gonna give it about a 2.
A 2. You're giving me
Yeah.
shit for giving it 1. You're going to give it 2.
Yeah, because what that's a whole digit there. That's a difference. Uh, 1, I think it would have to be even because
What,
I think there are
what
probably
did we
some
give the
films that are
blob?
even worse that we've never seen.
What did we give the blob?
The Blob, I think, probably a 4 or 5 or maybe a 6 between 4 and 6, I reckon. I can't remember. Mind you, this is probably the oldest film we've watched. By the way, I don't think I mentioned that earlier. Oldest film, uh,
But still,
technically.
this is a terrible film. Like
Yes.
unwatchable. I'll never watch this again.
I don't know. I might at
That-
some point
I
again,
I
but
don't even want this to get the remake treatment. Fuck this film. Just let it die. Let this film die, never to be seen again. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. We say get remakes and stuff. Let's not forget that films like The Fly and The Thing are remakes of movies of this era and of this ilk.
hmm,
And like you know, they're really good. I love The Fly. I love The Thing. Um, but this film, I don't know how you could make this. How can you? How would you make it like modern day? How would you make it now and make it good? Bear in mind, I don't want to talk about this film ever again. I hate it. So I'll give you 2 seconds to pique my interest. Otherwise, I'm hanging up. I've
I
had
don't
enough of
think I
this
can do
fucking
it.
movie.
I
How
can't do it
I
in 2 seconds.
and you know what really annoys me because we decided we'd do shit film month, and I suggested this film, and I'm so angry with myself that I suggested this. I hated it so much.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible. Back to film school.
Well, obviously, Edward completely skipped film school.
Did he completely
Uh,
skip school?
Probably, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Daft,
A bit of a,
daft.
I don't know how he ever managed to convince people to do anything with him.
Hated it. Hated it. Well, I suppose it's because he's like really nice. so he gets on well with people, so he can talk them into doing stuff.
Yeah.
Because from what I can gather from the Tim Burton film, he was a genuinely likable and nice dude that everyone, like, despite the fact that you were making a bad film, you enjoyed the work. I
That's
think that
interesting.
I think there's an element of that, like, okay, you knew you weren't doing Shakespeare, but you weren't like unhappy on set. It was very fun, I would imagine.
Charisma,
sure-
I guess. Some
I'm
some.
sure they say something like that in the Tim Burton one. What about how many plans out of 9 would you give it?
Oh, so 9 is not enough. This is clearly you've gone through about fucking 100 plans by now, and they've all fucked up, and they kind of just built off each other to become this kind of mess of a giant failure. I don't know how else to describe it.
I'll give it -9 out of 9.
Does that imply that they got it right the first time really well? If it's -9.
Well, I suppose, when you times a positive by a negative, you get a negative.
Ah, okay. So you've just been super negative.
Yeah, I think. Pretty sure that's how it works. Anyway.
Do you want to know the IMDb rating of this?
Well, I've got a feeling because people love this. I bet you it's like a 7 or something. But like it should be like, if it was a genuine thing on IMDb, I would imagine it'd be like a 3 or a 4.
I'll tell you now. It's 3.9 out of 10.
Oh, I was right there. Right, I give
Not
it
a
a
2
0.
though. Or yeah.
I give it a 0.
You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to.
Am I allowed to give it 0?
You can, of course you can. It's our
'cause that's the
podcast.
only-
You can do what we want.
That's the only reason I gave it a 1, is because I felt like 0 was unfair. If I can give 0, I'm giving 0. Like this is the one time I actually regret a movie. Like, I wish I could go back in time and say we're doing The Room or Sharknado.
Yeah, Room would have been more fun.
This was just terrible. I hated it with a passion.
Yeah. Shall we end this one then?
All right then. Thanks everyone for coming out to listen to us, even though it's been a morbid one. Just nothing but venomous hatred from me. We are.
I've never seen you so angry on this podcast. You've never been so annoyed.
I've never disliked the film this much. I've never felt like I've wasted my time watching a movie more than this movie. I hated it. Thanks for listening, everyone. Fucking hate this movie.
Thanks for listening to Tobias's rage. Next time we might not be so rageful.
Yeah. Bear witness to my rage. I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds. But yeah, like, look, this welcome to Film Shrapnel. Fuck you. Get out of here. Like,
yeah, that's the greatest ending. That's the greatest ending we've had.
Go follow us on Twitter, I guess. Not that we want. Fuck off. We don't want you. Go. Don't. You know what? Unsubscribe. Do that instead.
Yeah.
Do follow us on Twitter, capital F, capital S, at Film Shrapnel. And Craig, next week, what are we doing?
So we have 2 films left that we're doing for this month. We have Troll 2
and Battlefield Earth.
Yeah, so those are coming up soon.
Yeah. So next week, guys, we'll see you then, where we will be doing Troll 2. And until next time, you just hold on there, Buster.
Film Shrapnel.